This is the first of what I hope will be a series of videos about finishing the restoration of my 1941 Plymouth. I started the project about 10 years ago, but in 4 months there's going to be a car show over in Monterey put on by the Plymouth Club, and I want to have it done in time to take it over there and have it judged and let other people take a look at it. So the videos are going to tell you a little bit about the history of the car. It'll show you what I've done up until now, and then it will also hopefully show you the completion of the project. The car is a 1941 Plymouth P12. I purchased it in 1969 for $50 and then put it into storage, which is where it stayed for the next 30 years. About 10 years ago I got it out with the idea I would fix it up enough to drive it, but it was still in pretty good condition. I was the second owner of the car, and so I decided I would go ahead and do a factory original restoration, and so that's what I'm working on right now. Now, what I set out to do was to try to get the car back to as close as original condition as possible. I was trying to match all the colors, the materials, try to get all the tolerances the same so that it looked and drove and rode exactly like it would have back in 1941. So I took each individual piece of the car apart, researched it, and then tried to recreate what it would have been like at the original. So each time on these videos what I'm going to do is show you one piece of the car that I kind of worked on already, just so you know what went into it up until now. I took the instrument cluster completely apart. I replaced a couple of the instruments that were broken and then sent the faceplates to somebody here in California who repaints them, and also the glass. And then once that was done, I reassembled everything and came up with the finished product. So there you have the finished product, ready to be installed onto the instrument panel. Now, another thing I hope to do each time is to show you a little kind of a mini project, some part of the restoration that I'm doing to finish up those last few details. And this time what I'm going to do is show you a little bit about the lining for the trunk. Now, inside of the trunk, there, over the wheel wells, there was a lining, and the lining was made out of jute, and then it had burlap on the adhered to it. And as you can see, it's all gotten kind of rotted and wet, and this is all natural fiber, so it just doesn't hold up over a period of however many years. It's been 70 years. So what I want to do is to create something that looks like this and try to recreate it. So what I was able to do is to go down to the upholstery place, and I found some burlap, which is made from jute. But then they don't have the jute padding, that thin padding, accessible. I've looked on the internet, I've looked different places, but it's probably better to use a synthetic pad anyway. And I was able to find this pad, which is still thin. It's just about the same thickness as the original jute. So what you do is, if you take some adhesive, and I found that the Scotch Super 77 3M adhesive works great for this. If you spray it onto the backing and then attach the burlap to it, you end up with something that actually looks very similar to the original. Not as dirty, but I think it's going to do a good job. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut out a piece of this and then glue the burlap to the backing, and then I'll use the old piece as a pattern so that I can make a new one and get rid of these old pieces that are smelling up the garage. So there you have the original and the piece that we reproduced. And if you look at this, you can see that it's sandwiched right in between there. And I think it's going to do a good job. So that's about it for this time. Next time I'll be giving you an update on how I'm doing on getting the engine started. If you have any comments, parts of the car that you would like to see, or information about the restoration I've done to this point, leave a comment and I will answer them in the next video. See you later.